Hello. Woo! My name is Pete. I have a problem that maybe you have heard about, maybe you have seen, and most likely you find funny, annoying, or creepy. I have Tourette Syndrome. I'm not ashamed of it. I am accustomed to it. I want to tell you how I found a way to make it my advantage, rather than a problem. I was an absolutely normal kid until one morning when I woke up and had an urge to twitch my head for no reason. And then another time, and another one. I was standing in the center of my room, doing strange movements, and couldn't help it. Okay, I thought. Maybe it's some muscular spasm, and it will pass. It didn't pass. In several days. Even worse, I got a couple of other symptoms, like raising my hands, winking, and the worst, I had to squeak like a pig, like this, from time to time. I don't know why. Of course it became pretty visible, and I came to my parents pretty stressed. They brought me to the doctor at once, and that's where I found out I was diagnosed with Tourette Syndrome. I had never heard of that before, and believe me, if I had seen a person with these symptoms before, I would laugh or be disgusted. Now I had to present myself at school and explain that that's what I would look like for the time being. I was only 10 at the time. I still remember what it feels like standing among my classmates and saying I have a condition now, being in constant movement, and my classmates laughing at every single tick of mine. Okay, I understand that it looks like I'm having fun, but believe me, it's not pleasant or entertaining at all. Should I say that no one actually understood my problem, and everyone just thought that was my weird way of expressing myself. That was how I got isolated from everyone. No one wanted to be around me anymore, and the teachers actually didn't try to give me any support. Even worse, I remember once my teacher got irritated at my winking. She thought I was just making faces, and put me in the very back of the room, away from everyone. There I remained, isolated both physically and psychologically. Unfortunately, I couldn't exist there unnoticed, because I was making these sounds and movements that irritated everyone even more. I got to know some other guys with Tourette's. The idea was that I wouldn't feel so lonely if I got to know other people with the same problem. Unfortunately, Tourette's is tricky, because when you see other people's tics, your own tics become worse. And even if such a situation can look comic in a way, all these tics are very tiring and debilitating. Thus, I came out really exhausted out of these meetings, and tried to avoid other Tourette sufferers. In the meantime, the situation with my tics was growing worse. More movements added, more sounds, even abusive language. And after all, I came to my mid-teens looking like a swearing, perpetual motion machine in deep depression. I was browsing a lot of web at the time, as online, no one was disturbed by my tics. Once, I came across that video of a Tourette guy who was singing at The Voice, and he was so flawless. Beautiful act without a single twitch. You know, I thought, maybe Limelight can distract you from this, and you can just perform not thinking about being interrupted by some tic. I had an idea that maybe I could give it a try, and I even knew what I could do. I've always been quick-witted and had good sense of humor. I could maybe try a couple of times to make stand-up comedy bits for a small audience, just to come out of the house a little bit. I immediately sat myself to write punchlines that even made myself laugh. It was so exciting to see that I completely forgot my depressed state and was just taken by the process. Thing is, my Tourette tics may be pretty amusing if seen from the outside, and added to the comic monologue. The effect was hilarious. As far as I'd never been ashamed of my state, I managed to spot some really funny moments of being a Tourette patient. Small misunderstandings, enigmatic winking to everyone, all this stuff. And what I wanted to tell people was that having this condition is not a stigma. We are not retarded or anything, just regular people. I managed to make my first show surrounded by Tourette patients. I thought that I would see first if they would appreciate my comic bit. because they understand me like no one else does. The effect was even better woo, than I expected. I got a standing ovation, which was a bit of an overstatement in my mind, but still pleasant. What's more, I indeed could control my tics better when I was on stage. I decided to go on, as far as it did me good. I went to the local open mic club and performed in front of local public, who first were taken aback by my strange behavior, but in the end of the performance were laughing their heads off. And the most important part was that they were not laughing at me, but with me. After this, I went on performing in that club. People got to know me and were not disgusted by my looks anymore. They became my first real friends. I am now starting exhibiting outside our club, and everywhere the audience likes me a lot, while I feel better, more controlled, and not so lonely anymore. This is my story, and I just wanted to tell you that sometimes, if you want to survive, making lemonade out of lemons life gives you should become your favorite sport. It's nice that I can share my story with you, and hope you spread a word and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more stories from people with various problems, and maybe give them some advice.